Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Cheyenne and Arapaho Productions podcast. This is part 3 of a very special podcast series that we are hosting. We're telling the story about the El Reno Lady Indians basketball team. And by now, if you've watched part 1 and part 2, you will have seen the interviews of the coaches, the senior girls, and I think what makes this team so special is that the majority of the girls on the team are Native American. Majority of the girls are Cheyenne and Arapaho. They've grown up in this community, and they have so many stories and experiences to share with you all. But I think another important component to this story is the parents of these young ladies. So we have some very special guests with us today, and that's the parents of our senior girls that we just interviewed. So I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves, who they are, where they come from, and then also who their daughter is. If you're new, if you're not new, you probably already know who their daughter is, but go ahead, and James, and introduce yourself.
All right, I'm James Sleeper. My daughter is I'm James Sleeper. Dang, at the table too. I'm James Sleeper. Daughter is Najoni, and I'm from Greasy Lake and Country, South Canadian, down around Fort Cobb area. I'm from the country, yeah.
And then you grew up in El Reno?
Yeah, well, I grew up in Fort Cobb,
Okay.
El Reno, Maple Eagles.
Which is another rural school.
Yeah. And, just really happy to be here.
Thank you.
My name is Teresa Dorsett, and my daughter's Carly Kahiga. I grew up in a lot of different places, but mainly Gary. And Carly's been in El Reno all 12 years. So.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a Arapaho.
Thank you.
I'm Katie Blackow. I grew up in El Reno, but I was raised, I've been everywhere too, like she said. But I came back and graduated at El Reno. And my daughter's Brianna Blackow. And she's been here her whole life.
My name is Melissa Curley. I'm Cheyenne, Arapaho, Navajo, and Sioux, Rosebud Sioux. My daughter is Najoni Sleeper, and I grew up here in El Reno, Oklahoma City, Elk City, and the Navajo Reservation.
Oh, thank you.
I'm Billy Black. My daughter is Pauline Black Harmon. I am Southern Cheyenne, and we moved here from Tahlequah.
And then how did you all end up in El Reno, Oklahoma? Because obviously you all didn't grow up here. Maybe some did, but how did you all end up in El Reno? Anybody can answer that.
My family's been here their whole life. My grandma used to live out here at Concho.
Okay.
So, all my uncles and mom and aunts all graduated from El Reno.
Awesome. Thank you.
And we're just right down the road from Gary, and working for the tribes.
Okay.
Yeah, working for the tribes. My aunt and uncle lived here. I think I grew up mainly with family, all over I-40, all up and down I-40. But coming back to El Reno was always felt like home.
Okay.
My first cousin, Jenny Bigfoot, and her family live here. And whenever I left Tahlequah, this was, of course, to be closer to family.
Okay.
Yeah, we moved to town about 7th, 8th grade. Yeah, moved from out by South Canadian into town here, and I graduated from here.
Okay.
So so all my brothers and sisters, 7 of us, all graduated from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then did everybody else graduate from El Reno, or?
I did.
Okay. Katie's the only one, and James. Anybody else, or where did you graduate from? What school did you attend?
Gary High School.
What year? Hey, no, just kidding. You don't have to tell us that.
2005.
Anybody else? Melissa? Billy?
I went to school in Albuquerque. That was the last high school I went to with my dad, and I actually didn't graduate high school. I got my GED right out of getting kicked out of school. Crazy.
Tahlequah. I went to school in Tahlequah. I tried Sequoia. It wasn't for me, so right back to Tahlequah.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for being here, and thank you for agreeing to share your stories and experiences. So again, the reason why we're here is because of your daughters. They're very special. They've achieved some success here in El Reno Public Schools. The first girls team to ever win a state championship. So that's what we want to talk about, is just how you've raised your daughters, and more importantly, the sacrifices that you've made for your daughter to have some type of success. And maybe you didn't have that. We didn't have that, but what did you want for your daughters? What did you want for your kid? What do you want for your kids? And that's a story that we want to tell. So let's just jump right into it. So when did you know that your daughter loved basketball? When did you know, like, okay, this is real? Like, I mean, we're going to put time and effort into this. At what age or what grade did you see that she really enjoys this? She really loves it. She's really good. When did you all know that?
Probably Darlington. Her 5th and 6th grade.
5th and 6th grade?
8th. Yeah.
I think for Najoni, I noticed it more in her 6th grade year, how good she could be. I think with her, she pretty much had a love-and-hate relationship with basketball throughout her whole, up until this last year.
Okay.
I think for Pauline in the beginning, it was more of a friendship thing. I mean, when she moved here and met all the girls that she plays with, she did it because it was fun and she loved being friends. I didn't realize how dominant she could be until Lady Braves, whenever she played with Evan and Eric. And then, of course, Perry and the arena coaches, they all just kind of built on everything. So hers was just every year. It amazed me, the stuff she'd done, how better she got.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I don't really think that I can say Carly loves basketball, and she really never has loved it. I think as every parent, especially every former athlete parent, sometimes it's forced on them, or come on, let's try basketball. And I think early on it was fun for her, and then probably got a little bit too serious for her. And then I think it was probably freshman or sophomore year, I realized that she didn't love it. And then I needed to kind of take a step back and let Carly do what Carly wanted to do. And I didn't force her to play basketball, but she played it, didn't love it, and then literally didn't want to play her senior year. And I said, Carly, you came this year. And then I did make her, I said, you're completing your senior year. So I wish I could say she loved it, but she liked it. Yes. And I think probably more what Billy said, it was a friendship deal. It was being with her friends. It was traveling. And I know she loved that part. So it was more the companionship and the friendship and the having fun than basketball. I hate to say that. It breaks my heart to say that, but
also,
that's the truth. Yeah.
That your perspective, because you've played basketball all your life. You went to college. You had a son that played basketball. So this isn't your first child to kind of go through this experience. So how hard was that? Like, you have maybe your son that loved it, and then you have someone that's just like, oh, I'm here.
Oh, it was tough. It was tough. But I literally had to take a step back and just say, because I know everybody at this table was hard on their kids, because I watched it. And out in front of everybody behind closed doors, I was more of a behind closed doors, I think, but she would get it, after the game, like, you should have did this, play harder, do this, do that. And then at some point I was like, Teresa, stop. And because I didn't want to take the joy out of it, but at the same time, I wanted her to be competitive and say, I don't expect you to go score 20 points, but I do expect you to try hard when you get on the court and play your butt off and put all your effort into it. But it's like I just had to balance myself as a former athlete, Christian playing, extremely competitive, and then step back and say, this is not Carly's passion like it was ours. So I was just is more support and just loving her for who she was. And
it's funny you say that, because she's now a state champion, which I don't know if you were, I don't know if Christian was, but we were talking about this one day, and Lexus was like, man, I always loved basketball. We always loved basketball, and Carly could care less, and she's the state champion. It's just funny to say now.
Yeah, but pretty much. Yeah.
Right? But James, do you want to share anything?
Yeah. One time, I think Joni was maybe 12 or 13, and she was wanting to play basketball, and she was acting serious about it. So I wanted to see how serious she was, And so I took her down to Randlett Park down in Anadarko place that is kind of like special to me, you know. And they always have basketball tournaments down there. And so I said, "Oh, go! You really want to play? I'll take you down here." You know, and so it was just me and her. I think that time I took her down there. We didn't have no team. We didn't have anything. And I just started talking to people, you know, y'all need an extra player? And she wants to play, you know. And so I was telling her stuff like, you want to play? It doesn't matter who you play with or where you play at. It's just a game. It's the same. So let's see what you're going to do, you know. And she ended up going into overtime with that team for the finals, and they lost. And her little determination was showing to me, you know. And from that point on, I was just like, yeah, if I believe you, you know, I believe you. And but if you're going to do it, you got to be serious about it, you know. If you're really going to do it, I'll take you wherever you want to go, you know. So.
And what age was that?
I think she was 12, maybe 13 at the time. Yeah.
And so Teresa did mention competitive, right? So let's talk about that conversation of there's a difference, right? Of let's go play a league in El Reno or Yukon that's kind of league ball. But what is being competitive, and what does that mean? And maybe explain that to some of our parents that are listening.
I'll start with this one. So I think if you're an athlete, you're naturally competitive, and see, I don't know which direction to go with this, because as far as being a parent to Carly and being competitive, it was tough because she, like I said, she was just easygoing, carefree. I don't want to say didn't care, because she cares, but at the same time, the competitiveness part of it, and I believe me, when I say I've watched all these parents over the years, I've watched these parents, and things that stick out. We were at Respect Gym one time. You were in there with a broom. Do you remember that? Yeah. He was holding a broom up, making Joni shoot over that broom. And then even with the twins, Alex and Emery, I remember being in the gym in El Reno with Christian when he was younger, and he was in there just making those kids do those drills, and they were little bitty guys, and I was like, "What the heck?" But I mean, I think the competitiveness is probably learned, but I also think it has to be ingrained in those kids too. Like these, I feel like these girls were competitive, and Carly just naturally wasn't. She just wanted to be there and be a part of it, not. It just wasn't in her, so.
So how, if you notice like your kids are competitive, right, you kind of see it in them, you see them being scrappy and feisty, but how did you feed that competitiveness? Because it's easy, right, to just show up to your school game or just practice at school and that's enough, right? But what was, like, if that's not enough for your kid, what is that next level, and what did you do for them? Taking them to the gym, or, you know, explain to us how you fed that competitiveness for your kid, and what, you know, just school practice isn't enough. You know, what did you do to help your kid kind of go to this next level and the commitment? Kind of explain that, what you had to do with your kids.
With Pauline, it was actually in her. I mean, anybody could tell her anything. I could tell her anything. I was extremely hard on her and Janae. I wasn't on Latrice and Sherwin. Sherwin was more like Christian. He loved ball. I could watch his game and there was nothing I could yell at him about. He did everything right.
Right.
Pauline, you learn your kid every game they play, and I knew that with her, it was the other team that would bring it out in her. If a girl tried to body her or block her or anything, then Pauline would just come right back at them, let them know they couldn't. So in her, it was something that had to be brought out of her in a competitive game.
Okay. Anybody else want to share?
I forgot to share my Billy and Pauline story. But I guess the reason I'm going to share this story is because I feel like looking at it back at the time, it looks harsh, but we all did it as comparative parents. But Pauline, we were in Okmulgee, and you came with us after the game, and your mom got on the phone. Do you remember that? You were in the back seat with Carly, and you just tore into her, and me and Carly just bust out laughing, and because you didn't, I don't think you knew we were listening, but I was like, and I was thinking that's a parent, you know what I mean? That she wanted it, because you want to get to them right after the game and say, you should have done this, you should have did that, you should have did this, but like I said, I have stories, but it was just that the parent wanting them to do the best they could.
Right.
And then, and, being their biggest cheerleader, being their biggest coach, being their biggest supporter. It was part of our jobs, I guess. And whatever manner we decided to do that, it was encouragement. It was tough love is what it was. So
There was a commercial on TV, and it was somebody giving advice. Oh, it was from the player as he was young growing up. And he was telling his parent, you got on to me after every game telling me what I didn't do or what I should have done. And he was like, and all I needed to hear was the things I did do. And, oh gosh, I'll be like Pauline.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's a great point because and I did try to do that with both Christian and Carly, but you're automatically just like, you should have done this and you should have that and you should have worked hard and you should have got that rebound, you should have did this, but then to follow up with that with okay, but what you did good was
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Here's what you did right.
yeah.
I think
mean-
the hardest thing is whenever you see your child have a great game, you expect that every game.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So to any parent listening, I would try to tell them right after the game, hey, you did this great, you did that great, and maybe wait till the day after and be like, okay, let's work on this. You didn't get as many rebounds or something.
All right.
That's what I probably would change if I could with Pauline.
Great advice.
And how did they respond to that? Did you hurt their feelings? Did they, respond back to you? They shut down, or how did they take that criticism?
With Pauline, she shut down. And I learned it wasn't until her junior, senior year where I was like, okay, I need to step back and quit doing it. I was the worst parent. You could hear me. I mean, she could have 15 rebounds a night, but you can hear me, follow your shot, rebound your shot. And
Right.
and it wasn't whether or not she had 20 points. Okay, you missed that rebound. You could have had more,
Yeah.
I would just strongly suggest to any parent to encourage them more and not go at them wrong.
Yeah.
But-
I think whenever Najoni, when she had a hard time in a game, or James usually would talk to her and tell her things that she should work on. And I remember my cousin Natalie talking to me about Tyler's games and how my uncle would talk to him, and it made me think about, what do you feel like? I asked Najoni, what do you feel like you did good in? What do you feel like you need to work on? And what do you want to do? Do you want to play basketball? Is this something that you're passionate about? And when I started asking her those questions, it really helped her, I think, to me, because I wanted to listen to her. I wanted to hear her feedback. I wanted her to express her feelings, to bring it out. And I think to any parent that, it's your energy is high after a game. Your energy is excitement, or you just have a lot of energy after a game. You want to be able to share that with your kid, and like you're excited or you're upset, you kind of like, in a sense, react in that way. But whenever when things calmed down more, whenever things were like, okay, we got it all out, your dad talked to you, we talked to you, but I want to listen to what you say. I want to listen to how you feel. And I think that was a big thing this past year for her senior year. I had listened to her, and I told her to just come to us, go to your dad, talk to your dad about your feelings. Any bad game, good game, I said, we're always here. And he'd always had told her, we're always here for you. And listening to them is very important. It makes them feel important. And that was something that I felt like would help for her, and especially these seasons that were coming up for her. So that's what I thought, for any parent to, I guess, being competitive, but also listen to your child and how they felt.
I was really tough on Joni. I was really, really tough on her a lot, you know. But like I said, whenever things were good, I was still tough on her. Whenever things were bad, I was still tough on her. And I would tell her, like, do you really want to do this? You know, if not, it's okay. Like, we love you no matter what. But if you're going to do something, you need to, like, give everything you got for it, you know. Like, every sprint you should be giving everything you got if you're serious about it, you know. And it's going to set an example for yourself and for your teammates. And yeah, I don't know how many times I was like, just go turn your stuff in. If you're gonna have a bad attitude, go turn your stuff in. You know, let's go. Like, if you're not serious about it, let's go. You know, there's other girls that would love to have your position.
Right. Yeah,
love to travel, love to go play. You know, just go turn it in. And then she would be like, no. You know, and I'd be like, okay, well then get it together. You know, be serious about it, because you're developing your work ethic, your character, you know, how you approach things. And so it was pretty tough, and I'm glad Melissa was there to kind of play the good cop position, you know.
Yeah.
But I would always talk to her afterwards, you know, like she said, a couple of days later, the next day or something like that, and be like, it's okay, you know, like we love you. Without basketball, with basketball, does not matter. You know, you're our daughter, but, you know, if you're going to do it, give it everything you got, you know. So.
Absolutely. So how do you all do it if you are a single parent of saying, okay, well, I've got to be good cop and bad cop. So how do you balance doing that, being both sides for your kid? Because all this comes from like a place of love, right? You want your kids to be the best, to have the best, to experience maybe what we didn't experience or you didn't experience. But, you know, it's hard for them to maybe sometimes see that. When we're older, we can see it. But how did you all, you know, single mothers, kind of balance that and this, you know, the conversations that you would have with your daughter? How do you continue to encourage them?
Well, I'm the single one.
Me too. We got three.
I don't know. Bree's real rebellious. Like, she wanted to quit this third year after her injury. And I was like, well, it's up to you, but is it really what you want to do? So that's why she didn't play in the last game in the Darko tournament. She was in the stands, still supporting.
Yeah.
But I was like, is this really what you want to do? And she kind of got upset, you know, because that injury just kind of got her.
Yeah.
Put her down. But I was there with her every day. I may not have been at the games, but I was watching.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a lot harder, but I make sure she gets there. So.
Yeah.
Before I answer that question, I wanted to follow up on Billy said when she said I was the worst parent. You weren't the worst parent. Believe me. These parents were at every game, every tournament, taking them, driving them, invested, and you know, and I think the way that we care, we want them to be successful, right. And I know I didn't handle Carly the best way. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to cry because I'm not going to cry, but, you know, she just has a soft soul, you know what I mean? And that's just Carly. And I'm just glad I realized it when I did, because I could have been way much harder on her. But like you just said, it's all out of love for our kids and wanting the best for them, want the sex. And I'm glad we have this platform, because now we can say, just like you did, what would you do better? What would you do different? Right. And I love what Billy said. You know, when you give those lectures of what they could have did better, tell them what they did good. So, and I definitely do that with my younger kids now. So, you learn from it. So. No,
don't be
the second
like
question.
Us. All of us said what we found out our senior year to them. Yeah. Don't be like us. Don't wait for the last year to change.
Just how do you handle that? Because I mean, having these conversations of like, I want to be really hard, but I've got to be soft. And then you all as single mothers trying to do all of those things for your kids.
I was sitting here a little bit envious because they did have the good cop, bad cop. You know what I mean? And as a single parent, you have to be both. And it takes time. It took maybe it took us a little bit long. But you know what? I think with Christian, I was the bad cop all the time. You know what I mean? Because he constantly reminded me, "You're too easy on her. Don't. It's not an option if she wants to go to the gym. You didn't give me an option. You know." And I don't regret not pushing her. I'm glad I stepped back when I did and just said, "Carly, it's your decision." But because that I was a bad cop. You know, you got get there. You got to want it. You got to do this. You got to do that. And it took me a minute to realize I had to be that good cop along with that bad cop, but and the mom and the dad. So, but you just do it because you don't have any other choice.
Right.
With Pauline, she was lucky enough where I was constantly the bad cop, always on her. But she was lucky enough where my mom and dad, my sisters, Teresa, everybody that watched her, they would all come up here to her after the games and just automatically tell her how great she did, you know, and got me in the corner rolling my eyes. I was like, okay. but yeah, I mean, you don't realize it, how much El Reno, the tribe, everybody, whenever I would, come after her, but then you have everybody else telling her how great. So I think that kind of evened her out some.
Absolutely. What would you say now that, I mean, looking back, right, it's great now that they have achieved success, right? I mean, everybody wants a gold ball in high school and state championship. And what's even more special, right, is because they've been playing together for so long. They've known each other for a long time. They're not only playing school ball, they're playing, respect ball or Lady Braves or AAU together. So what would you say have been the key factors to their success?
I think our tribes had a big impact on all of them, just the opportunities that they've been provided throughout the years since they were young, and even having Darlington that starts basketball at third grade, and it's just constant reinforcement of the game, of their skills, and I think it had a really, like, the respect program in particular, and all the coaches along the way, and then just the community's love for basketball as well too. I don't know how Joni ended up being a basketball player. I wanted her to be a soccer player, and when she gave it up, it broke my heart. 'Cause that's what I played, but it was like you knew it was going to happen. You knew they were going to be basketball players, and then with the respect, it's just, it's. I'm still in disbelief at all of the girls. I think that had a really big impact.
100%. I agree with that. And I thought, if anything, I wanted to take this opportunity to acknowledge that the respect, the tribe invest in their youth, number one, and does that through the respect program and education program and our health programs. And that's been a priority, I think, for the tribes for many years. But that hand in hand with Darlington starting basketball in the 3rd and 4th grade, and even more so inclusiveness, because if you want to play basketball at Darlington, you're playing basketball. You know what I mean? They got 40 people on that bench, and they're going to try to get everybody in that basketball game. So, and the tribal community, the tribe itself, I just feel like it's just one big family that has supported these girls through day one, you know what I mean, and led them to El Reno High School, where it all came together there to create state championship team, along with the coaches and the community, and I give big props to the tribes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anybody else down there on that end?
I think, like, taking just like what Eric did with our girls, he really sacrificed his own time to bring them together, create this team of them, and us all watching them when they were that young. Him and Evan did some practices with them at Darlington. Just having that individual just take them aside and do that with them, it really, to me, is a key factor in them that helped them to grow together, to be friends, to have that connection with each other. And what was exciting about that was watching all of these girls grow. I'm going to cry. They're all like our daughters. We all took them in, and we all care about them. I mean, that's how I feel with each of them.
I want to add to that because I don't want to leave out the coaches, the Evan and the Eric and the Perry, and that's just total dedication and care for our kids because they are the ones that I don't know that they got paid, and if they got paid, they didn't get paid a whole lot to invest their time and energy into our youth from early on. You know what I mean? Didn't give up on them. Kept going, and I'm sure there are times they wanted to say, "Is this worth it?" But still going today. You know what I mean? Coaches are still going. New coaches are jumping on board to invest their time, respect, starting several teams at very young ages now. So it's just an investment, and I personally want to acknowledge everybody that's a part of it, including the tribe in Darlington and the coaches that took the time for my kids over the years and that continue to take the time for my kids. I was just telling them earlier before we started, I was picking up my kids the other day, and there was a respect band out in front, all these little kids loading up on the van, taking them to respect to work on their basketball skills. So that's where it starts.
It's just starting all over again.
Yep, starting over again. Yep.
Anybody else want to share?
Well, me coming from Tahlequah, I think one of the main pieces was the tribe. I mean, Pauline didn't play basketball in Tahlequah until we got here, and then she met the little crew she has now, and they just all decided, okay, hey, let's play ball. And from there, it was, like you said, Lady Braves, Darlington, respect. Me living in Tahlequah, I did not realize how much the tribe does for the youth. Everything they offer, all they do with them, and I think that helped her 100. Just being here and being able to be involved.
Right, and so a lot of that, where you guys did kind of mention earlier about being competitive in the respect program. So the whole purpose of let's say you choose to be competitive, and what I'm learning of like travel ball, travel teams, right? To do that, you have to have money. And so respect program, right? The intent was to alleviate those costs for families that we can give our kids opportunity to compete, right? But having access has a lot to do with money. And when you think about maybe your experience as maybe like a former student athlete, I mean, I know my mom didn't have that money I didn't even know what that was really till my nephew started playing. I didn't know that was an option. Obviously, we didn't have the money to do it. So, I mean, talk about like, how much money does it cost? What does that look like to get your kid to compete, to have access, to have opportunity, right? You're going to Florida or Kentucky or wherever that you're going, Texas multiple times. You know, I mean, what does that take? What type of money does that take to give your kid that opportunity? Because that's what it does come down to.
I usually do an in taco sale. That's the first thing she asks me. Mom, you got to do a taco sale so I can have my money. So that's what we do.
Yeah. And Katie makes really good bread, just FYI. Really good skillet bread, too.
When are you available?
I'm just answering because nobody else is. I'm not trying to take over here. So I'm glad you bring that up because I think you were kind of alluding to this earlier, but I know that when I was young and playing, I didn't have opportunity.
Right.
I didn't have support. I think my mom and dad came to 4 games throughout my high school and college years. So I don't know that AAU ball or I don't even know
I
that
don't
that
know when it's-
existed.
yeah,
I
me
really
either.
don't know, but we didn't have opportunity. We had what was right in front of us, and we had to make the best of it. But I think that is what we're giving our kids through our tribe is opportunity. And again, another one of your questions before this was, when did this start? I do remember 1996. I don't know. KK, help me out with the date. But we took a team to the Denver All West tournament. Dang, long time ago. I'm dating myself.
Yes, it's fun.
But
Well, me
that was
too.
that was the purpose of it. It was for
Yes.
opportunity, because at that point, a lot of our kids hadn't even been out of state. You know what I mean? And we would have summer camps. And I still remember a lot of the things that the kids talked about. One of them was me sitting in a group of kids and saying, if you had $1 million, what would you do with it? And I found at that time they didn't have the ability to dream big. They didn't even know what dreaming big meant. And they were like, oh, I would take my grandma to Walmart, or I would do this, or I'd spend a weekend in the city. And I'm like, no, you don't get it, And I'm
Yeah.
like, if I had $1 million, I'd jump on a jet with Michael Jordan and go to France for the weekend. And their eyes just lit up. And they're like, oh, we can dream that big.
Right.
And I'm, yeah, dream big. So I think that that's our jobs now as parents and education and tribal leaders to give those opportunities, to open up their minds to thinking that they can achieve success, go to college and play basketball, fly to Paris with Michael Jordan, whatever their dreams are, to accomplish them. So I wish we would have had those opportunities when we were younger. But I'm very glad that we're given them through the financial assistance, because to answer your question, it's tough.
Yes.
I just had one of my kids tell me yesterday, oh, they want me to play on this team and it's $200 a month. I was like, $200 a month? Anyway, call Jesse,
Yeah. Well, then you think about that. You think not only the fees, but you think about, I think about Melissa and James coming in with their little ones, Teresa and all her kids.
Yep.
Like, you've got to pay entry fee. You've got to pay gas money to get to these games. Then you got to feed everybody. Then everybody's at the concession stand. And that's multiple times a week. And that's just school ball. But then if you're playing AAU, it can be $50 a day, $25 a day to get into a tournament. So there's all these, right? We just want our kid to have this next level opportunity, but what does that mean for you all? What are you sacrificing to get them there? Maybe they don't realize what you're sacrificing.
When Pauline only played AU for her junior summer, going into her senior, and with me being a single mom, it honestly helped that my family, my mom, my sisters, Pauline's older sister, they were willing to do whatever for her. So it helped a lot just having family step up.
Right. So it's not just yourself.
No, it's not. There's no way it could have been. Like you said, AAU ball. So you have a monthly fee. If you don't pay it all up at once, you have to pay your gas and money. You have to pay your hotel. You have to feed them. And these tournaments they go to, they're different states. They're not in different towns. You can't go a couple hours and be there. And most of them were a week, so you have to pay for a hotel room for the entire week. So yeah, it takes a lot. You even have to pay for your jersey, whatever warm-ups they have. You literally pay for every single thing.
Right.
For Pauline, we did do it just hoping to get her a little more exposure to coaches. But I probably would not have done it. If I could go back, I would not. I don't think the amount of money it took, the amount of time it took, I don't think it was worth it for her. I think with her going to Seminole, I think she would have been able to get Seminole's attention without that. So unless your kid is serious and wants to play at a higher level school after high school, unless they're serious, unless they want to commit and take the time and practice every day, that's going to have to be your choice. Am I willing to spend all this money to get them there?
Right.
Or if they are like, hey, I don't know if I want to play after high school, then that's your choice. You're going to have to talk with them and decide, are you serious about this? Do you want to play AAU?
Yes.
Because it is a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
It is.
I don't know how we did it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how we did it. Yeah, we had a lot of fundraisers. Yeah, we had my mom making meat pies and things like that.
We I think Joni started in 7th grade AAU, and then 8th grade AAU, and then junior year AAU. Because of the pandemic, we didn't put her in that next year. But the 7th and 8th grade, it was a sacrifice. This last year was a sacrifice. I told him, I said, I'm not going to go to these AAU games. Y'all are going to have to do it because I can't drag my girls around any more than what we've done. And I said, you know, we're doing a lot. And it was hard. It was really hard financially for us.
Because then she's not your only kid, too.
Yeah,
right.
she's not the only one, but we knew how much she loved it, how much she wanted to play. And he had asked her, if you are serious about it, we will invest and do whatever it takes to get you to what you want to be if you want to play college ball. And so I think that those years in 7th and 8th grade, it was fun. I did go to those ones, and it was fun traveling with her, seeing that, seeing those different teams playing. And like for future parents, taking that sacrifice, investing in your kid, if they eat, sleep basketball, then do that for them, because it was fun seeing her play at those levels and her making connections to the other players. I mean, she has players that she played with throughout Oklahoma that she knows, and we know their families, and it was worth it though. It was really worth it.
And the competitive levels that are out there is really big. Like the ones that she played on this past summer, we saw another level. You know, the Nike EYBL level, and the competition level that was there. You know, for her to see that, and then to play in the level kind of the one below that, and have a hard time in that, for her to realize that she needs to get in the gym. She finally believed me. You know, after 2 years of high school, you know, then she would start doing it on her own. You know, and it's good to see. You know, but. It is very difficult to manage. I think EYBL, Nike, and them, they'll pay for everything for their kids, you know. And so I think our kids can get there, you know, but they have to be exposed to that. They have to know what it is, you know.
What it takes.
Yeah, my hope is for like Violet and some of the younger girls like Lilo and all of them, Liberty, all of them, to see that, to experience that, but still stick together for our communities, you know, and to reach those EYBL levels and things like that, you know. I think it was important for her to see, even in 7th, 8th grade, you know, for her to see and then come back and try to strengthen our community, our girls, our Lady Braves onto Darlington, Lady Chiefs, and then into El Reno, you know. So, but it was really difficult. Yeah.
So James, earlier, we was already sharing stories, but can you share your story when you were in Kentucky this past summer of...
Oh, yeah. I got all kinds of stories, yeah. We went to Kentucky kind of last minute, didn't know. Again, like Billy said, it was a whole week, and then, and so just Najoni and myself went, you know. The tournament before that was a really big tournament in Dallas, in Arlington, and our transmission went out on our car, and... thankfully, we have a good son, works hard, you know. He had a pickup. His mama came down, picked us up. We got the car, looked at, transmission was done. I said, just leave it, you know. I'm Indian. I don't believe in credit, you know. So we just left it.
I did.
So we just left it. You know, we came back in my son's truck. And thankfully, somehow, we were able to hustle, get another car, go to Kentucky. We did fundraisers. We were doing fundraisers while we were there. Because we were kind of short on money there. It was really expensive, but we got a cheap hotel. They have hotels that the teams stay in, and we were like, no, we're getting a motel. And so we found a motel, but there was lots of basketball people there. Coaches were there, other team, but we pulled around trying to find our room, and it got to the back side, and I was like, I don't think we're back there. There was a car on cinder blocks back there behind that hotel.
Oh, gosh.
I was like, okay, I know where we're at. And so, we were okay, but we went to go get us some dinner. We were in bologna sandwiches for dinner, her teammates, they're probably financially well off. I think they're eating on the river over there in Kentucky, and so we were in bologna sandwiches. We went to Walmart, came back, started getting our sandwiches ready, and I seen something run across the floor, and I was like, hold up. I said, I kind of moved some stuff, and I said, yep, pack everything up. Pack it up. I said, we went to the front office. We got a different hotel room, and just kind of, but it was worth it, like that tournament in particular. We saw Dawn Staley, she was there. She was scouting.
I was jealous.
She was scouting kids. UConn coach was there, scouting kids. Joni was on the team. Pauline. They had just all these college coaches watching them play. And just too little. Yeah, just really proud of them. For stepping out. And believing in themselves to go to places like that, from Renlet Park, from Frank Knight, little parks in our communities, to be on these. I think they had 101 courts going that time in Kentucky, maybe more. I think there was like 1,600 teams. At that tournament alone,
Well, there was a lot whenever they went to the Dallas AT&T Stadium. So that was a big one too.
Yeah. So I just, it didn't matter to me. It probably mattered to Melissa. What financial strain we were going through. But to see Najoni happy and content and say, waking up early, going to the gym, and just seeing. How exciting they were, and shout out to Pauline and the girls. They won national championship that summer.
Yeah, Pauline. I think it was her team. I don't think they lost a game that whole summer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they didn't lose a game the whole summer. I remember one time, I don't even remember what gym it was, but Pauline had to go up against this girl was like 6 something. Well, Pauline was like to her chest.
Oh my gosh!
And Pauline kept her out. She didn't score on her. Pauline went at her and scored on her, and she probably fell 3 or 4 times. And that coach was like, "Pauline, why do you keep falling?" And she was like, "You get out there and guard that. You go guard somebody twice your size." Right. But that's what I remember. Is just her being able to a whole new level, playing against a whole new level of girls.
Right. Yeah. And you all gave them that opportunity, right? You gave them the access. So was it worth it? I mean, all these, because it's not only money, but it's also your time, right? You're taking to sit in a gym all weekend, to take time away from maybe your other kids to be here with this one kid, or other things you could be doing, right? Your own hobbies, your own taking care of your own well-being, but right, you're sacrificing your time to maybe travel to Denver, to Phoenix, wherever it is that you're following your kid. But what is that like? Sacrificing your time also. Because you can't get that back, and was it worth it? Is it worth it?
In Pauline's situation, I never thought about it as sacrificing my time. I mean, I love watching all my kids play, and then when we go to her game, it's her other sisters. They love watching her play. So we couldn't wait for a game day. It was on our calendar. I made sure, even working with Teresa, my days were marked. Hey, I'm going to be gone. This is game day.
Yeah.
So I never thought of it as losing time for myself. I mean, we absolutely like I said, I love watching. I have all 4 kids that all played all 4 years. So, yeah.
I think it was worth it because seeing all the younger kids go up to Joni and just like they were saying that's her little fans in a sense. coming back to the community and what they had done as a team, as young Native American girls, was huge to me.
Right.
And I felt like it was worth all of it. All of it was worth it. And knowing that she made a difference for everyone.
Right.
Around, I mean, in our whole nation, in a sense.
Well, I didn't get to really go to any of her away. I didn't have the means to, but I always made sure she did. And then I have family and people like, the tribe, and that would help.
She always had
I was always watching though. I was like, somebody's going live.
Yeah.
So
He's going live.
it was always on TV. So.
Yeah, and I agree with Billy. Like, Carly's probably mentally done with, and I know she's looking forward to this summer, but I can't wait for the tournaments with the girls. I love it. I've loved it all for years, even though, Carly's does it more as a hobby than, loving it. I literally can't wait I love every second she's on the court. I feel like there's still some untapped potential in there, but I definitely not a sacrifice.
Yeah.
At all. But I have one quick story. When Christian was playing AAU ball, I remember telling him, because they were like, Christian was like, they need their payment. And I said, no, tell them you're staying with me at Motel 6. You don't need to stay at the Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
Of course, I paid it, but I didn't want to. It was a lot. It was expensive.
Yeah,
So.
it is expensive.
That's there's only two things that I'm not late for. And that's dinner and Joni's basketball.
That's
games.
right.
That's it. Yeah. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Rewatch all the games multiple times. I've probably watched the state final game like 10, 12 times since it's happened. It's just, but it is tough too, especially we got two toddlers, Hadi and some Slicka, it's tough, but it was all worth it, just to see the excitement, like that picture that they had on the front page of the El Reno Tribune, the excitement that they all had, and just thinking back to whenever they were toddlers, and we put Joni on the court with the James Revelis and then her older cousin Jalen and them, and she just stood there and cried, and then but she wouldn't quit,
Yeah.
she wouldn't quit, but she just stood there and cried, just something I always tell her is like, just think of all those girls, all those all your cousins, how many of them deep down they want to be in that position, and so knowing that, seeing the determination in her little spirit, that it was all worth it. It was all worth it.
That's why I don't think there was like a dry eye in the house when they won on last month. And just seeing, I think, too, because, playing basketball all my life and loving it. And, you didn't have the opportunity. Like, we started going to All West, and that was about it, when I was in high school. And that was because of Teresa, Quentin, them taking us up there. That was probably the most that we had got the opportunity to play, beyond El Reno or Calumet. But when I was just watching and, the joy, like seeing them have fun and the happiness, and like they were doing it all together. And you just think about like, I would love to be in that position. I grew up playing with Natalie, all our life, and like how cool would that have been, and then you look around and you see mainly Native girls on the floor. Then you look around, it's like all of our families are there and celebrating, and it was just neat to see and just be able to cheer on and see them. And then afterwards, you get to go hug them and say, you did awesome, and I'm so proud of you. And even seeing Bree and saying, hey, I'm glad you didn't quit. I'm glad you came back and finished, following them through the whole season. Remembering when they were little girls. Remember they were at Darlington. They won another gold ball. Just watching them play throughout the years, I think, has been a privilege as a spectator, watching your kids and seeing them have all the success that they're having. And, we keep saying we're going to celebrate till when. I don't know when we're going to stop celebrating, but it's been fun.
Till they do it again.
Yeah.
the next team.
It's been a fun ride. And I just really look up, my daughter looks up to your kids and everything that they've done and they've accomplished. But we don't want to go beyond an hour. So I just want to say, last question, if you all want to share, any special message that you have to your daughter, they're about to graduate now, high school, and maybe move on with their lives. What do you want to say to them, or do you want to share with them?
KK just wants to see us cry. You start.
I'll go first. Yeah. There's a lot of times whenever I may not have cheered for Joni, and I told her, like, some of the girls on your team, they might not have support, they might not feel like that, and so I try to cheer really, really loud for all of them, and I just love our youth a lot, and so I wanted to know Najoni to know that I'm extremely proud of her, She's going around talking, trying to be a little spokesperson for her team. I've been telling her for a long time that she comes from people that are leaders,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's gonna happen for her. She's gonna have to try to step up and speak up for somebody one day, and I seen it happen,
Mm-hmm.
I seen it happen. Extremely proud of her, love her, our whole family, It's kind of joking around, saying, "Dang, she made the Sleeper family name good again." But I can't just say I'm extremely proud of Najoni, because they're all together. They all did it together, and just extremely proud of all of them, all of them, and just the sacrifices that they made, and they put up with us, they put up with us and us griping them out after the game or waking them up or trying to put pressure on them to be in the gym or anything like that, and I just can't tell them, ha-ho enough,
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, ha-ho, thank you so much for all the wonderful memories that we have, of them playing, and just really, really thankful to the Creator, that He allowed us to witness something like that, put all these girls together, and for us to watch them grow up together, and then have a perfect season with the state championship. Just remarkable, unbelievable, it's just really good, really good. And yeah, just love them so much, so proud of them, and just, can't say it enough.
Thank you.
In my closing remarks, I have a lot to say. I'll try to keep it short. But one thing that I really want to stress is that basketball really is life for Native kids. I know it was for me. It was literally my life. Like, if I don't know where I would have been if I didn't play basketball. I didn't go to school on a scholarship, played basketball, Indian ball for 25 years after that. It was all about meeting people, opportunities, helping with my confidence, but it's life, and we're passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that I have an answer for your question about why,
Mm-hmm.
but it just is. So to everybody out there, to coaches and everybody, know that when we talk about basketball, it's just not basketball. It really is life. So, and to my Carly Pearl, she's my hero. And now I'm going to start crying. I'm not going to cry. She's really my hero. She's everything that I want to be, that I always wanted to be, even if she's not the athlete that I thought she might be. She just doesn't know how proud of, every day I look at her and I'm just so proud of her, and this doesn't even have anything to do with the state championship, and absolutely nothing to do with that. It's just who she is as a person. She has the kindest soul, and I love her. She has ambition. She has she's her own person. She does her own thing. And I'm like, she's my hero. That's my message to my daughter. I love her so much. And one more thing, I prayed for the last 2 years for one of the girls to step up on the basketball team because they needed that. They needed somebody to say, come on, we can do this, to believe in yourselves. And I honestly and truly think that was Najoni that did that. And because I would tell Carly, speak up, say something, do something, get them going, get them motivated. And I don't know that she did that, but I do know Najoni did that. So they needed that. They needed that. So
Absolutely. Thank you.
Can't top all of that. I'm just very proud. I didn't get that opportunity when I was in school. I quit basketball when I was in the 10th grade because at El Reno at the time when I was, they didn't, focus on, they only focused on certain girls.
Right.
And so I quit and I stuck with volleyball, and I was varsity in volleyball. But, I mean, I'm proud of this whole team, these girls. I've known all of them since Bree started Darlington, and I'm very proud of every single one of them. And I know I don't get to go to all y'all's games, but I be supporting. And Bree, I love you. You're my number one. Always will be. And I'm very proud of the young lady you've come. And you keep doing you. And keep moving forward. I love you.
Thank you.
I was wanting to, I'll keep it short. Just kidding. I wanted to give a message to Najoni to always keep her faith, always stay strong and close to Heavenly Father, because He really helped her throughout these years. He gave her that strength. He gave her that peace of mind, that love that she felt, and she really it made a huge difference for me seeing her, and to always stay faithful to praying every night, keeping prayer, to keep her close to Him. And I think that was very important for me, and to help her and maybe all her friends. I love all them girls, and I encourage them to keep praying, believing in themselves, because Heavenly Father is the only one that can really get you through all those challenging times and those good times, and to remember Him in everything that they do.
Thank you.
So, like I said, of course, all four of my kids played ball. I'm extremely proud of all of them. I cannot wait to watch Pauline in the years to come. She's extremely beautiful inside and out. I do want to thank Najoni, Bree, Carly, Emery, the ones who started and finished. I mean, Pauline wouldn't be here, have the gold ball, or be the player she was because of them girls. So definitely thank you to them.
Yeah. Thank you guys for sharing, your stories and experiences and being so open and honest. I think that's all that we wanted today. But most importantly, what I've learned that I need to stop getting onto violent, moving forward and trying to be more positive and encourage her and, allow her to have fun, because she does love basketball. And I think a lot of that goes back to your daughters, watching your daughters play and play well. And I'm thinking, well, they won every game this year, so what did y'all have to complain about? Hey, no, just kidding. No. But thank you guys for sharing. And like we said at the beginning of the story, there's so many layers to these girls, right? Where they went to school at Darlington, how that played, the opportunity they had outside of school with these coaches investing in them that were tribal members. And if you can see here, this was a whole community effort, right? It wasn't just one person. I think as Native American Cheyenne and Arapaho people, we do our best to help one another, and it's community and family, family over everything. So I'm just happy that you guys took time out of your day to come and share with us, and I hope our listeners and viewers enjoyed it. So is there anything else y'all want to share?
I want to say thank you to El Reno Public Schools for embracing our culture this year, and the years before, but this year, most of all, the way that they've embraced our culture, and our Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes, and I want to tell all the coaching staff and then administrative, all that. Thank you, thank you all very much for recognizing our kids and looking at them in a good light, and giving them opportunities to be successful, So
That's exactly what I was going to say. I didn't want to leave without saying thank you to the whole El Reno community for embracing our kids in the tribe and bringing us in as part of their family, I guess.
Right. Yeah. And I know we're about to end, but I do want to share something real quickly. So my niece goes to high school, and she brought some friends home last year that were from Montana and I'm going to say North Dakota. And so they wanted to come to a game, and they came to a game, and they were sitting there. And where they're from, this isn't normal. So they had asked her, the Indians and the whites sit together at games. They said because back home it's very different, right? It's still, there's this divide. And I think that basketball has been this way of bringing us all together because we all love basketball and we all want to win, right? And so I think that reflects kind of in the stands now where everyone is there. I mean, literally everybody. I mean, we have elders that don't even live in El Reno. They're here sitting in the stands. So it's been a beautiful thing to see. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for your time, and stay tuned for the next episode.